We have an economics professor at the University of Berkeley in California stating that the days of the US dollar are numbered and that it may not unfold the way that many have thought it might. He states that here on this world stage, we have a lot of different currencies. The Chinese currency is one that is rising to compete with the US currency right now. The US currency, the British pound, they have been among the more dominant reserve currencies throughout the years, throughout the past many decades. And in periods between wars, they say it seems like the British pound and the US dollar shared reserve currency status more or less equally, depending on the year. Now, they're saying it seems in the offing that the Chinese are going to have a hand in this. Now, I warned about this when they were trying to get their currency into the world reserve currency basket, which is where the United States has its currency, obviously, and the U.S. has been boss hog for some time. But we have witnessed a shift, like Venezuela, shifting toward trading with China and Russia and others in their currencies backed by gold or oil. And Venezuela creating its own cryptocurrency backed by oil here recently. All these attempts to move away from the US dollar, and other experts here in this article, they state, are warning that this is going to shift to the east. The power is going to shift to the east. And this professor also states that there's moments throughout history where there's been multiple world leaders or powers that have had dominant currencies on the world stage. So they're saying China's in the mix already. They're going to become more dominant. They continue to echo this. And China's been making big moves in regulating everything going on with the blockchain status of like NEO, where they could then roll out where they're tracking everything. Hog, grain, soy, rice, I mean, you name it, everything on these digital ledgers. They've already got everything lined up to do so. And here on this world stage, as this professor is stating, it looks like in the reserve status here is a dominant currency that the United States power as a sole power is slowly shifting away. They also cite that in times of like World War I and World War II, other countries' currencies were vital during those periods. And just kind of echoing a war type of atmosphere with what they state there. But that's where it sits in terms of what he's stating here with China. Wanted to make mention of it and let it be known that this goes right along lines with them collapsing something like this and things shifting toward the east, and the east already having everything set up in a system that the way they like it. And really, to me, when the US dollar does come down, it's going to be all by design. I've talked about this so many times. DB Bank, so many others have been busted manipulating the housing markets, precious metals. They didn't go to jail. They got a smack on the wrist, fined, and they're still out there doing it. So they're allowed to keep this going and propped up, which means if they can do that, they can bring it down. So to me, it's a sham here on this world stage, but in terms of currencies, there's a bit more information here at this link that I'll leave below. This has been Dabu7.